broadcasting to you from the studios of Free People Radio here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we record Please Call Me Crazy with Royce White, the Professor Penn podcast, Hebrews. Lots of content for you to come and enjoy. And I'm on a mission today. I'm in a mission today with you to talk about the Trojan horse of world governance, and that is one world economy. One world economy. One world economy has waxed and waned since the first sailing ship set sail for a colonial prize to extract wealth and to take slaves. Yes, one world economy has a long, long history. Globalism waxes and wanes. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's not always bad. Globalism could be just great. It could be globalism and nationalism could be as meaningless in terms of words as Democrat and Republican. Because really the true dynamic underneath all these different polarities and dualities is, are we free? Are we free citizens in the world? Are we sovereigns of our own lives? Or are we inventory to be exploited by elites from birth to death? That really, truly is the question. And I want to remind everyone that it's only been in the last 200 years that anyone has even questioned the validity of human slavery, that since time immemorial, slavery was endemic in the human condition. There was nobody even questioning the idea of slavery. Well, we had that period called the Civil War, where we, the people, decided to end a business model based on chattel slavery. But there are different kinds of slavery. There's debt slavery. Are you in debt? Do you have credit card debt? Do you have a mortgage, a car payment? Do you recognize that our government, that is us, because it's we the people's government, has a national sovereign debt of $37 trillion? Trillion dollars. And if you put that into some context, $1 million in $100 bills, you take those $100 bills and you stack them back to back, $1 million gets up to about, the height of the chair in your dining room. $1 billion of $100 bills stacked on top of each other is as tall as the tallest building in your state. $1 trillion stacked $100 bills one on top of another goes up into space higher than the space station. And there's $37 trillion, 37 stacks just like that. The debt is crushing. And it's all part of the system of global international finance. How did banking start? Banks, finance were about providing resources for human beings to travel long distances. If I was living in France and I was going to the Holy Land on a crusade, did I really want to take all that gold with me? That was kind of dangerous. So a group of people came together and said, we're going to establish this system and we're going to give you a credit note that's, guess what, as good as gold. That's how it started. Then when we started to sail the seven seas, someone had to finance the timing gap between when a ship sailed, delivered its goods, and got paid and brought the money back. The bankers were developed to finance the timing gaps involved in human trade. The whole world now is a system of central banks financing world trade. All of those banks are coordinated in their actions. All of them are coordinated. It's about the money. And we're living in a moment in time when President Trump is actually changing that system. He's changing it. And it is also wound into the idea of foreign policy because the banks make money by lending money. And what consumes the most money? War, war, war. Look at all this money that's gone down the rabbit hole of Ukraine. All that money that we, the people, have borrowed. We've borrowed the money to finance the war. That's why they say all wars are bankers' wars. And there's been this academic at the University of Columbia, which I follow closely because my daughter is a student there. There is a very prominent academic, Jeffrey Sachs, who's been involved in global affairs for decades. And I've watched him come out very stridently opposing the Biden administration's involvement in the Ukraine and making it quite clear, in fact, that Russia is not necessarily to blame for this war. And that's a big deal for him. He's been on Tucker Carlson. He's been all over. He's been everywhere talking about American foreign policy. And I thought to myself, wow, Professor Sachs, this is just great. You seem to be becoming a new man. You're seeing the lies. And he even says that he was in the room when the things were going down. So he knows that there's lying and hiding and scamming. And I was really buoyed by that. But he came out with a clip this week that let me know that Jeffrey Sachs only wants to tinker with the system. He's an academic. Please play the clip.
So Trump has single-handedly, by a decree, not debated, deliberated in Congress, not voted on the basis of law, no backing in the American business community, no backing by the American public, certainly thrown the entire world into a crisis, and a crisis that I think will cause countries to coalesce in a kind of defensive mode with each other, facing the United States as a dire economic threat to them.
You see, so when it comes down to what President Trump is really doing, he's ending one world economy. This economy, this world economy, which is financed by the central banks, is adjudicated through a organization called the World Trade Organization. It's the most powerful organization in the world, more powerful, I think, than the United Nations, because that's where the countries of the world go to argue about the split of the cash. And Jeffrey Sachs actually is a globalist. His critique of the Biden administration's actions in the European theater, in the war with the Ukraine, with the war with the Russians, are limited in scope, a false flag, so to speak, just trying to hold the system he obviously is invested in accountable, which is better than just lying. But now President Trump has come to undo the underpinnings of that system, and Jeffrey Sachs is not happy about it. So unhappy, in fact, that he lies, saying things like, the business community is not behind it. No, Jeffrey Sachs, that's not true. I'm part of the business community, and a lot of businessmen are very happy that this is going on. The American people aren't behind it. No, Jeffrey Sachs, President Trump was elected to put America first. You don't like that, do you? Not really. It's a little bit scary for you. When we, the people, assert our right to be a free and sovereign nation, scares you. Makes you think we might be Nazis. Is that what it is? Does that scare you, Jeffrey Sachs? Because actually, your critique of the Ukraine, your critique of Israel means nothing unless you address the slavery, drugs, and piracy business model that is the cause of these symptoms. The symptom is the Ukraine. The symptom is the Middle East. The symptom is the South China Sea. The cause is the business model of neo-colonialism. Please, Jeffrey Sachs, please, I invite you on the Professor Penn podcast. I hope you see this. I hope you come on. I've sent you emails. I would like to learn from you. I'm open to it. But what I'm saying to you, sir, is it's the underlying cause that President Trump is addressing. The symptoms will take care of themselves when the cause is cured. Thanks very much. See you soon again.